Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV. And today is the last day here at PDAC 2023. And I have the honor to introduce you to Phil Williams, the chairman and CEO of Consolidated Uranium. Hi, Finn. How's it going?
I'm well, thank you.
That's
Nice to talk to you.
How was the fair so far?
It's been amazing. The excitement around uranium is fantastic. I think some of the busiest rooms were uranium
Okay.
presentations, and so it's been really great.
Okay, so let's start with talking about the uranium market. So what's the actual situation there and what's going on in the future, maybe?
Yeah, so right now, uranium is in its best setup that it's been in years. We're seeing long-term contracting by utilities for the first time in many years, and this was one of the signals that we've been waiting for
Mhm.
to go back into a bull market. Also on the spot market, we're seeing prices stabilize just above $50, and a lot of that's driven by physical buying, particularly the Sprott Physical Investment Trust. They've been busy actively buying spot material, soaking up a lot of that loose inventory, and so I think the spot price is poised for a breakout very soon.
Okay. And what do you think? What price do you need to get in production?
So for us, at our most advanced projects, which are in Utah,
Yeah.
past producing mines, I think we're looking at about a $65 price. That's the number that we would say, okay, it's time to go.
Okay, $65. That's not that far away anymore.
It's not that far away, and we were $60 early last year, and so I think we can get there again relatively quickly.
Okay, cool. So you just mentioned your projects in Utah. Give us a short overview, a short update about all your projects and what's going on there.
Sure. So we have a lot of projects all over the world.
Yeah.
We're in Canada, we're in Australia, we're in Argentina. But as you said, our focus is in the US. We have 3 past producing mines in Utah.
Hmm.
They were in production in that last bull market of '06, '07, '08. And they're on care maintenance right now, but they're fully permitted. So we
Okay.
can move them back into production very, very quickly, faster than a lot of the other projects that our peers are trying to advance. And importantly, because they were in production, all of the capital has been spent on them. They are built mines. There's not a big capex in front of us.
Okay.
And the third piece of those projects is we have access to the White Mesa mill, which is the only operable conventional mill in the U.S. So when we mine from those projects, we'll take the ore, we'll send it to that mill, process it into yellowcake, and sell it.
What's the capacity of this mill?
So that mill can do more than 8 million pounds a year. That's the
Okay.
license capacity. Energy Fuels, the owner of that mill,
Yeah.
is talking about doing about 2 million pounds per year when they start that back up.
Okay. So there's much room for the future.
Absolutely. That mill is I think it's a 2,000 ton per day mill. It's one of the largest mills that was in the US. And again, it's the only current licensed and operable mill. There is no other place to take ore. And so we're very fortunate to have a partnership with Energy Fuels. They're our largest shareholder, and we have the toll milling agreement already in place.
Wow. Do you see any catalyst, any support from governments in order also to push the uranium market?
Absolutely, particularly in the US. We've already seen the Department of Energy has been building up a strategic stockpile of uranium
Hmm.
reserves. They bought about 1 million pounds from some of the producers in the country earlier this year, and I think they're going to do more of that.
Yeah.
I think also uranium is starting to make its case as a critical mineral, and that's a bit of a buzzword, particularly going around this conference here. Whether it's lithium or vanadium or copper or nickel, those are all critical minerals and getting a lot of attention. But uranium also fits in that bucket, particularly because it's the only fuel for nuclear power plants,
Hmm.
which is low cost, low carbon electricity production around the world.
Okay. Phil, you have been busy all the time, especially also this year. You started with, I guess, at least four press releases, and you finished the acquisition. So let's talk about that. What's so special? What's so unique at this project?
So what's unique about the acquisition you're talking about is Virginia
Yeah,
Energy.
exactly.
So we acquired what's known as the Coles Hill project in
Hmm.
the United States, in the state of
Yeah.
Virginia. That project is the largest undeveloped uranium project in the US.
Wow.
It's got over 160 million pounds of uranium.
Hmm.
That's an order of magnitude larger than the next largest project. And certainly we think that can be a company maker on its own.
Wow. Okay. So that's also good for the investors.
We think so. And particularly because the price that we paid that project has had some historical challenges to development, and the company that owned it was not really actively trying to move it ahead. So we were able to get it at what we thought is, I think, is a very reasonable price relative to what it's worth, how much money was spent on it in the past. We
Hmm.
paid $40 million, $100 million has been spent on it in the past,
Wow.
and in the past bull market, it had a market cap in excess of 200 million.
Wow.
So we see a lot of upside there.
That's cool. So you had already enough money in the bank. How's the situation now?
Yeah, so we have just over $15 million in the
Hmm.
bank, so that fully funds us for our work programs this year.
Okay.
We're going to spend $5 million in the U.S. on our projects there, a couple $1 million on our projects in Australia and Argentina,
Hmm.
and that still leaves us with a lot of room exiting the year.
Okay. So the biggest question is, when do you want to start production?
I mean, we want to start as soon as
Yeah.
possible. It'll be a function of the market. So we talked
Sure.
about $65 uranium is
Yeah.
kind of the number that we need to see. I think we can get very close to that this year. Certainly, I think we're going to be there next year. And I think that will inspire Energy Fuels to open the mill, and that timing will be perfect for our projects.
Okay. Okay. Do you see any further spin-out transactions?
Certainly, we certainly do. So the way that we look at the portfolio, and we've acquired a lot of
Yeah.
projects over the last 2 years, great projects with historic resources, lots of money spent on them in good jurisdictions. And our goal as a company is to move new projects towards production.
Yeah.
And we'll do work on some of those projects, but if we don't see them moving into that near term production bucket in the near future, or we see there might be a better way to develop them outside of our portfolio, we would certainly look to spin them off. And that's what we did with Labrador Uranium last year. We took our project, we partnered with two other groups that had projects in and around our project, created a new company, created a new management team, and launched that in a public vehicle. And we gave those shares directly to CUR shareholders, and we would certainly look to do the same thing with some of our other assets.
Perfect. Sounds very good to me. Thank you for your time, Phil.
Thank you. Great talking to you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Phil Williams, the chairman and CEO of Consolidated Uranium, and you heard it. The company is doing pretty well. They are at the right spot here at the right time for uranium. The interest is rising from day to day even more. And so, with this really exciting portfolio, they are doing pretty well. There are lots news to come in the future. So, check out the company and we will keep you posted.